Good morning, everybody. Coming to you via video today as I wasn't able to make it in. I've got a home with a sick kid. So, what we're going to do is we're going to finish the assignment from yesterday. I promise we'll figure it out this time. Um, you're going to turn that in on today's classroom post, and then you're going to have some time to work on your own cribbage board design. So, we'll see how long this takes. I was able to let me open it up here. I was able to complete the assignment from yesterday. So let's go ahead and get started. You'll need to get your dimension plans out, and um, hopefully you've got some headphones. You don't have to blare my voice um, for for everyone to hear. So we're going to get through this. Um, I'd like you to start. And if you want to start over or just delete things from your browser, let's go ahead and start with the board itself and the first rectangular pattern that we did. That's all we're going to do, and that's where I'm going to start, kind of going through the process of the rest of this assignment. Feel free to pause the video and rewind it and do what you need to do to get this completed today. So I'm going to go ahead and from this point, I'm going to put a sketch on my cribbage board, and I'm just going to take one of these rows at a time, and I'm going to project geometry of this hole right here. And I want to do that because I want to be directly above it. Now it recognizes its center point, and it's a radius. I want a diameter. There we go. I want that to be 0.25, and I want that to be 0.75 inches away. I am going to go ahead and just extrude cut that profile down to 0.5 inches. And I'm going to really do what I already have done, is create a rectangular pattern with that. And so my feature is this hole, and my direction is this X direction. I want 5 of them, and my spacing is 0.3125. Now this spacing and diameter is different than what your actual board will be. Our actual diameter will be an eighth of an inch. And then the spacing between them is going to have to be something that is unique to you. You don't want them too close together. You don't want them too far apart. After you have a set of 5, if you have a linear path or a straight shot, you can start patterning that set of 5. So that's what I'm going to do on this second row. I'm going to choose, you can see if I get in my mouse in the right spot, I can select all 5, and I can choose that X direction. Now my spacing, remember this is going to be the distance from the center point of the first one to the center point of the other first set. So 1.25 puts it directly at the end of the last circle. I want a space of at least a 1/4 inch between the two. So after a little bit of math, we will have a spacing of 0.75, 1.75, okay, between these two. And I should be able to, I wonder if I can measure, I'll have to measure that later. That should be a 1/4 of an inch gap between those. So it's a quick way to pattern sets of 5, okay? Let's go ahead and add a sketch. and we're going to project geometry. I'm going to draw a circle. 5 away and 0.75 away. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and I'll just add the other 2 lanes. So this circle, oops, I should have made that 0.25, 0.75. All right, so I've got all of my starting points here. And when I finish my sketch, I'll go ahead and extrude that one down. Notice I didn't select the others. Although I probably could have, so I'm going to double click on that. I'll actually just extrude all of those. There we go. So I've got the starting points on all of these. I can just do oh no, I can't do that. You guys are laughing, you're shaking your head. I'm going to deselect these other 2. There we go. And I'm going to rectangular pattern this one more time in this direction. I want 5, I want them space 0.3125. Okay, so this, we should have had some good practice doing this now. We're going to go ahead and we'll be doing this a few times. In that last extrusion, remember this sketch had my other holes on it. And if I don't want to redraw anything, what I can do is I can right click and share that sketch. It means I don't have to go back and redraw something that disappeared when I did an extrusion. So let's go ahead. We're going to do this. Let's actually do the top one first. Okay, so we're going to take this one and cut it down. And we're going to need, in a linear direction here, we're going to need 3 sets of 5. So there's my, get at it here, there's my, I won't narrate this because this is kind of a repeated, something we've already done, so. I'm going to go ahead and just give myself the last set of 5 here. All right. Now I used up everything on that sketch. So I'm actually, see these dimensions? I'm gonna just hide those by right clicking and going to visibility. All right, so now the challenging part here, or at least the new part for us, is we're gonna start with creating holes on a path. And I'm gonna start by putting a sketch on here. we did this yesterday. So it's going to be kind of similar, but differences. Project the geometry and offset 0.5 inches. It's just right on the line. Now it isn't perfect. My set of 5, my spacing got a little bit. It's just the way that it is. It's not perfectly following this line, but we are going to have the next set of 5 follow this arc. So it's not perfect, but that's perfectly fine. It's a cribbage board, and no one ever's gonna know. Once I've got my sketch, I'm on that sketch. I'm going to use a point. Now, you might think, why? Well, there's a reason why, and we'll get to that in a minute. But I want to get that point on somewhere on this, on that projected line. I'm going to dimension. Oh, and I'm also going to need to project this circle. Okay. And the reason for that is I'm going to dimension from the center point to the point. Okay. And this gives me a linear dimension. I want to get an aligned dimension. Okay. Remember that spacing here. We're going to try to keep it consistent. So there's that 0.5. Let's see what it is. So from here to here, I have a dimension of 0.5. So my next set of 5 is going to start with that. I'm going to then draw a circle based off of that point location. And I'm going to extrude, cut that hole. Okay, so that is the beginning part of my arc. Remember that little trick about sharing a sketch? We're going to do that again. We're going to share that sketch because I want to get some of that geometry back. I want the geometry of this point and of this arc. I'm going to go back to rectangular pattern. I can select this one feature. I can tell it to follow this line. Okay. I do want 5 of them. My spacing is 0.3125, like this. I'm going to have to flip it. Let's see. Oh, here's the other step we have to do. And this is why I had you have that point on the line. I'm going to go to the drop down and I'm going to tell it to start the spacing right here. Okay, and then I can flip it and it's going to follow that arc. Okay, and all those center points are perfectly on that line. And if you have an arc that's really sharp, you might need to change your spacing. So maybe 0.35 is what you need, because you don't want these to get too close together, because when they get drilled, they'll kind of touch each other. We don't want that to happen. I'll keep it at 0.3125, and I'm going to click OK. All right. Now, the plan doesn't have this, but I do want you to continue and do one other set around here as practice. So for some of you that thought you were done yesterday, I'm going to make sure that you do this. And so I'll put a sketch on here. I'm going to remember this is from a different sketch, so I do need to project it. And I'm going to project the end of that circle because I want my point. Remember that point. And we're going to dimension that point aligned. Let's see if I can try that again. Here we go. Oh, that's pretty straight. Okay, I want that to be 0.5. I'm going to put my circle. I'm going to extrude that. I need to have that point in order to show the starting point. So I'm going to have to share that. All right, so we've got this nice pattern that's working its way around the board. If you don't like looking at all of these dimensions, we can hide the visibility of them. The last run that we have is going to be on kind of a unique curvature. That's right, I just took a sip of coffee. Let's put a sketch on here, and we're going to use this run right here to kind of create a organic curve. I'm going to project the geometry of the end because that's where I'm going to start from. I'm going to use a spline interpolation. And starting here, I've got some space to use. So I'm going to just kind of, I don't know, let's go like this. Try get a curve that looks something like this. You can go ahead and control it a little bit with these grips. You can move these nodes. Try not to get too sharp of a curve. Everybody is going to have a little bit of a different line that they're going to deal with, but everyone is going to do 2 sets of 5. Okay, and so I'm not going to talk through this. I'm just going to. It's really this very similar process where I have to draw a point. I have to dimension it, draw the circle, pattern that set of 5, and repeat. You could always go back and change that spline, and the holes should adjust. So how do we turn this in? That is a great question. Um, these last few minutes are just going to show you how to do that. On Classroom, let's see if we, I'm going to add a resource here. If I could pause this video, I would. I'm sorry for the delay. You can fast forward while I find this file. All right, under Cribbage Board Resources, you're going to go ahead and click on the title block file. You're going to download it. You can open that up in Inventor. I also want to make sure that I save this, so I'm going to go ahead and hit save, and I don't need that anymore. Practice filling out this information. That is going to be under field text. Board. We're just going to call this SimTry 3. Put your name, my name. Okay, the scale on this is, I think it's going to be about 2/3. We'll see. Period 1. I always change the scale if it doesn't fit. But when we go to base, we're going to, let's see, that's 1/4. So I thought it was going to be about 2/3. That's pretty close. This is going to be your top view. What we'll do is we'll do a top, and we're going to go down here and do a front view like so we can see the depth of these. And we're going to create a PDF to attach to Classroom. So I would save this, do a file save as, because if we don't do a save as, it's going to save to the C drive. Don't want that to happen. That's when Google, you think you saved it to Google and you didn't. So let's quick save that, do a save as. Just going to call it title block, that's fine. But when we go back to file, we have an option to export as a PDF. And again, you'll make sure you save that to Drive. It can still be called title block, and I'm going to save it. Don't send me an Inventor file. I will not grade it. It needs to be a PDF. And so if I go to my Drive, you should be able to find that PDF file that you put in your sim folder. And attach that to Classroom. I'm just going to keep talking while my slow internet lets me get to where I need to go. If you know how to do that, you can turn the video off right now, but I'm going to keep on going. And I've got, should have something called title block right here. There's my title block PDF. And when I open it, there it is. Attach that to Classroom. If you have any time left, you can work on your own personal cribbage board. I hope to see you tomorrow.